Hello, hi.
Hello!
Welcome to Pussy and Cunty. Or Piece. Oh, fuck, I fucked up.
Girl, what did that girl just say, girl? Girl.
Hello, hi.
Hello.
Welcome to PC.
Episode 1.
Pussy and Cunty. This is.
Pussy. No, I'm Pina Busch.
And I'm Cunty, aka Cassi de la Cunt.
We're here to talk about the SF drag scene. We're Bay Area babes. Well, we're transplants, so we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But
that will be another episode.
yes, we have found our home here in the Bay Area. So we're here to talk about scenes, queens, everything in betweens, all that good stuff, and our experiences being alternative drag queens in San Francisco, which is like the best place to do alt drag. So
It's very true. Should we introduce our fake sponsors?
yes, who may eventually become our real sponsor.
Thank you, White Claw.
Thank you, White Claw, and thank you, Bodega Man, for the straws.
Thank you, Bodega Man. That'll be our second sponsor. The straws were free.
You could be a guest.
Oh my god, no. Please no. Oh.
He likes you.
No, he knows my real name, my government name.
He does. It happens.
Thank you, debit cards. First topic.
Yes, Cassie and I had the extraordinary privilege of being a part of a pageant recently. The Butch Queen Pageant is produced by Grace Towers, who's a
Love
local. You. Yes, holy fucking shit, love you so much.
much.
She's a local tour de force extraordinaire.
She's another transplant.
She is another transplant. That's right.
San Diego to SF.
Yes. And just started this pageant to celebrate, butch drag and alternate forms of drag.
Alternative drag. I would say probably something that's not Drag Race.
That.
Not passing woman drag.
Right.
So obviously I have a man voice.
I have a lady
hide it.
voice, but yeah, exactly, like not passing.
Yeah, not passing.
Yeah.
Just something that you're not normally used to.
Yeah. So like bearded queens,
Mustache
queens with
queen.
hair. Yeah.
So the definition of butch queen is a person who shows off not just feminine but also masculine traits. So it's pretty much like a non-binary performer. That's the exact definition of butch queen.
So rundown of the pageant. So this is what we had to do for Butch Queen. So Butch Queen was a residency. Like it wasn't
starts
just
in November.
Yes.
And the show was January 19th.
Yes, at the Victoria Theater, which was like so cool. I haven't played to a theater that big in drag ever. So like that was amazing. And we had this like crazy cool set and like, these like giant light up Butch Queen signs and like it was just gorgeous. So basically it was a 2.5 month residency and we had weekly rehearsals for dance.
Every Tuesday.
Yes, every Tuesday. We learned like this sickening opening number. Like, I mean, my butt is like tight still. Like,
our opening to this
it's the song that haunts our dreams.
It really does haunt us. Nails, hair, hips, heels, nails, hair, hips, heels. Oh, I have a white claw back.
Just like, I'm not dancing. So we had the 2.5 month residency, dance rehearsals, we had makeup lessons, we got to do photo shoots with like some really cool local photographers.
Yes.
And like, I mean, it was just, we learned so much. Like we had to keep a weekly journal and like we had prompt questions and, stuff to consider and talk about and like, talking about activism and like being involved in the community. And, so it's like, and that's one of the things I love about this residency was that it was so much more than just like,
a pageant.
Like, yeah, it was so much more than just like do something sensational, it was, which everyone did something sensational, but it was so sensational, like in their own right and in their own artistry. Like every number was so different from the one before it.
I think every number
was
an example of each one of us of who we are.
Like to a fucking like
as a performer,
pinnacle.
as a person, just we all kind of just showcase ourselves.
Yeah. So we had to come up with a
runway look.
Yes.
We had
Q&A.
Q&A. The opening number, which is a super hardcore.
Yeah, it was intense. Like it was good.
I mean, it was hard for me because I'm not a dancer.
It was hard for me. Like I am a dancer. Like it was. And then we had to curate an original number. Why did you want to do Butch Queen?
Why did I want to do Butch Queen?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to push myself. If anyone who knows me, I like to push myself sometimes a little too hard. But I just wanted to elevate myself and elevate my drag, and that's what Butch Queen is really about. Is about taking what your drag is at that moment and taking it to the next level. Because that was like one of the questions that Grace asked us, and right off the bat, is like, look at performances that you adore, and why do you think that elevates, or what you could do to elevate that performance. And then like ask your good old Judies or people who are going to be real with you. Super pussy and cunty, super PC, and kind of get their feedback of your drag. And the one big feedback I got was that I was not a dancer.
But you worked hard,
But I'm a great host.
Yeah, you're a great host. Like, I love working with you. Yeah, I got into Butch Queen because, like, I also really wanted to push myself, and I also, like, I wanted to discover more about who I am as a drag performer. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's honestly, like, one of the biggest takeaways that I got from this whole process was, like, understanding, you know, why I do drag. Mm-hmm. And, like, I wanted to challenge, like, my own definition of drag, and I wanted to challenge other people's definition of drag. And so, like, I was the first AFAB, assigned female at birth, queen to ever do the pageant, and that was a huge deal for me. Like, and it's...
applauding Grace as well for doing that.
Yeah, same.
Number of my performance was very, 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 very personal. So when I moved to SF, I wasn't very well received. So I got a lot of feedback about, you know, like, oh, your drag isn't drag, or, you know, you're not good enough, and blah, blah, blah. I kept getting, like, that kind of insults, and I still get insults to this very day. But, like, there's one particular individual that just likes to call me Cassie de la Sloppy. And you said you make sure I'll never get booked anywhere else. And here I am. But, like, I got those kind of insults. Yeah. But, so, like, my number was about, like, taking insults. And it wasn't just particularly from, like, the drag community, because that was where I got all my insults from. And I had my drag sisters kind of say all the insults with their voices, from New York to SF, which was kind of, like, cool to me. And then I transitioned to a song which is called Woman is a Word. And I took out Woman and replaced it with Butch Queen. Put some comedy in there, because I was giving you a roller coaster ride. It really was.
Seriously, like...
It was a roller coaster ride. Like, you were laughing, like, oh, this is funny. And then all of a sudden it was just like, whoa. That drop was just like, what just happened?
Yep.
But Women is Word is about talking about, like, you know, if you need to put a word to a certain person's, like, aesthetic in terms of, like, their figure, their look. And Women's Word is more about how, like, if you need to call somebody a woman, then fine, use woman as a word. But for me, I kind of took Butch Queen and took it another level in terms of, like, oh yeah, like, these are my hips, and if you need to put a word to it, Butch Queen it is. Mm. And then I got more personal with it, and so I am a poet. I write the poem that I wrote about my father, about being not masculine enough. So which was kind of fun, because in the beginning it was like I wasn't femme enough, and now the poem was about not being masculine enough in my father's vision, and being too gay and whatnot, and kind of doing like a whole reveal, like half my face off, and giving you both Cassie and the opposite of Cassie at once, which made it really emotional for people. And then it went into Beautiful.
Yeah.
By Christina Aguilera.
Classic.
And all my backup dancers were...
I literally have goosebumps, like, while you're talking about this. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like,
all my backup dancers were, you know, I had Shanae Bess, I had Skirto T. Baggins, and Tara Bangs, and Holden Wood, which, you know, represented, you know, the trans community, and one person from the Black community. Actually, I picked people that I really cared about.
Right, same.
And I really wanted them to be on the stage.
Yeah.
And kind of...
I was willing to do anything to, like, have the 4 people that I had. Yeah. Like, I was like, I don't care. Like, I'll meet with you outside. Like, I need to have you in my number. Like,
I wanted to do something really well polished, because that was one of my feedbacks from people, was that I wasn't polished enough. And I didn't think my number was as polished as I wanted it to be. Mm. I didn't take certain things in consideration. Like, I should have rehearsed a little bit more. with the people I had in my number, I should have taken consideration that makeup remover chemicals would fall to the ground and I could possibly slip through ties. But I didn't fall. I did not fall.
My hair fell
People
after I started.
Own thing. So like the first portion, my original idea with the female voice was supposed to be my sister's voice, but I got feedback that they were too monotone.
Oops.
I love my sisters. My biological sisters.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
But I mean, it was true. I didn't want to put people to sleep, so I got somebody who was a little bit, better at reading poems. And my biological sisters know that they're not theatrical. But I still use their voices.
Yeah.
Because there was an echo, like, when every time it said "Thank you, Father," or "Oh, Father," it was just like it echoed through with their voices.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Or "Hello, Father." It was just like, it was all their voices echoed. Because someone actually reached out to me and they're like, "How did you make it echo with your voice?" I'm like, "That's not my voice. It's my sister's voice." I'm glad you think we all have the same voices.
Oh my god.
Again, with the masculinity and femininity,
right?
like
it's all a blur. It's on the spectrum. Cute.
Ready?
We gotta do a reveal. Here we go. Wait. Hang on a sec.
Fan reveal. This
What?
must be a segment.
This
Fan
I
reveal.
know. Okay,
1, 2, 3.
And of course the damn computer flips it around. You can see. You can see this.
Wait.
See
Yeah.
it? No.
No.
Yeah, there we go.
You can see mine.
Yeah, mine you can't, but
It's okay. Maybe we can flip this in the editing.
Right? Maybe. Well, then my pee will be backwards.
We can just flip
I cannot be Karen. I cannot be Karen.
The songs you use. And
Yeah.
Why you chose those songs?
So I wanted to do so my original concept that I didn't go with because I felt like I would be victimized.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to portray that story. Was to an In This Moment song, which I'm not going to reveal because I still want to do the number. But I love In This Moment, and it's one of the best concerts I've ever seen because it was so theatrical. It was so dark and so gorgeous, and I love. In This Moment has, helped me through, some really, difficult times with, my past and, navigating my trauma and, but I also, love how much, she sings about, women's experience.
What's
and,
the song?
I
almost burped. I was like,
no, you're fine. Well,
no,
just generally speaking about In This Moment, and it's, because, she sings a lot about, the shit that women go through. So, basically, so I ended up settling on Roots by In This Moment, and basically it's I'm stronger than I ever knew. I'm strong because of you. And in the original song, in my eyes, she's singing to an abuser and leaving that abuser, and so where I was going with it, the deeper I got into this number was my dancers were kind of my inner demons, and just the voices that you hear in your head. They have a song called Into the Darkness, and it's basically this dark kind of demonic voice that's I hate you, and then she says I love you, and then you're a whore, I will just take your clothes off, I will not, that back and forth, I wanted to do really gestural movement, and that's very much my style, is very gestures, and I choreographed my entire number, and I'm so proud of the choreography, I haven't done group choreo that I am in, ever, basically. I've choreographed for other people. I've choreographed dances, on, where I can, fully step out of it. But, this one was really challenging because it's, I can't see, I can't be the critic, It's, I have to, I'm in it, and I'm emotionally invested in it in a really different way. And, so that was, it was super hard, but I'm really glad I did it. Because it's, I know my body, and I know what works for me, and my choreography style, and, and getting to choose dancers based on that was really cool. But, so it started with that, and then, went into, there's another song I have called Salvation, that's, an intro to, their album Ritual, and it's, very thunderstorms, and, sirens, and it's really, drums, and it's, really intense, and, so basically, it was, the shedding of, these, voices, and the shedding of these, this meanness, and this evil, and taking power back, and, so then, and then I had this cloak that was, like, symbolic for all of that, and then the demons were, like, fighting over the cloak about who got to, like, have this, like, shroud of evil, and then finally, like, I took it back and threw it off stage, and, like,
Ooh.
and then we...
Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's on the hanger with my Butch Queen dress, like, in the closet, like, so, because I'm gonna add to it, as well, I want to do this number again, so, and then it went into Roots, and, it's like, thank you for all the lives you've, thank you for all the, every word you said, thank you for walking away, like, and just, like, just basically being able to say, like, a huge fuck you to, like, these demons, like, because, like, I've gone through, like, my fair share of mental health issues.
I mean, I would say, like, everyone has their own demons,
seriously,
whether they want to admit it or not.
It was aggressive, and it was angry, and it was, screaming, and it was, it was so intense, and it was intense to do, and it was intense to create, and, like, I'm so happy with, like, the discomfort of it, and, like, and I know that I made people uncomfortable by it, like, I know that I, like, and actually, oh my god,
which is the one thing I love about drag, is, like, making people super uncomfortable.
And, like, in a good way, it's like, I don't want to make somebody uncomfortable by, like, being an asshole, or, like, it's like,
or
but,
cunts.
like, cunt is a good thing, like, but, it's challenging them to, like, think about something differently, and, and to have, like, 5 women and non-binary folks on that stage, like, basically screaming at 500 people was, like, that's my level of discomfort. That's what I want to, I'm
beautiful.
So proud of that. Like, because it gets me uncomfortable with making people uncomfortable, and make me comfortable with being uncomfortable in the process. And, like, it's like, you can't grow if you're not uncomfortable.
That was a lot right there. Can we unpack that?
Like,
I like making people uncomfortable because it makes me uncomfortable, but also makes me comfortable for being uncomfortable.
Yes. It's, you can't grow if you're not
uncomfortable.
Like, seriously, it's... What was your Q&A?
My question was, the use of social media platforms has now shifted the way in which we interact as humans. What could someone do in their everyday life to be more aware of this and make choices rather than follow the clicks, likes, and taps into a deeper disconnect? The funny thing about this question is that on our one-on-ones with Grace, or my one-on-one with Grace, we actually talked about social media a lot. Social media, with me in particular, becomes problematic, especially this past year, and especially with my number, because there were certain drag performers that decided to drag me online, pun intended. But keep going. I'm enjoying it. It's really great. It's great content. My answer was, like, straight to the point. It's just like, just get the fuck off of social media. Disconnect. And so this will also explain my runway a little bit better too when we go into that. But, like, it's just pretty much like, there's so many drag shows out there, like, connect with people outside of online. Like, you can use social media as a huge tool to, like, find out what's out there, but also you can, take that social media tool and actually apply it to your real life and not just be a viewer on social media. And to go out to actual drag shows and actually supporting local drag and not just watching Drag Race from your home or watching someone's drag performance on your phone.
Right. Instagram stories is not, it's great, but, like,
great.
come on, show up. Like,
but, like, I mean, it costs a lot of money to look this beautiful or this ugly.
You're gorgeous.
But yeah. But it just, I mean, just go out and support.
Mine was...
Don't you love this?
What do you say to your self-saboteur? How do you push past your own fears and insecurities? And, which, like, we've talked about the numbers. This very much tied into my numbers. So, basically, like, and I was so nervous about this part, too. And so I was just, like, channeling my inner theater background, and I'm like, okay, I've made announcements when I worked at summer camp, like, I got this, And so, like, I wrote it in my phone first, and then, we don't have, like, a script, we just have to talk, and so basically, I was just like, my self-saboteur is incredibly loud, and she's really aggressive sometimes, and, like, had to come up with, like, a system of being able to, like, talk to her. Because, like, you know, we're all human. We all deal with fear. And I can't fight against it. I have to work with it. You know?
Because I feel like people try to work against it so much.
And I've been there.
And I think that becomes more problematic working against your self-saboteur rather than trying to work with it.
Right.
Finding that balance.
Because, like, my self-saboteur is always going to be there. Like, I have, like, a fucked up head, and, like, it's just, it's a part of my life. Like, it's just, and it's always going to be a part of my life. So why fucking sit there and try to shut this out when I can just be like, okay, why are you talking to me like this? Why am I upset right now? Why am I, like, and I literally have to sit there and, like, ask myself these questions. And so, like, when that voice gets really loud and really angry, you know, this is what I said for the Q&A, was, like, I have to remind myself that, like, I have a really loving, supportive family around me. And, like, you know, I have, like, you know, people that I care about and that I trust and that care about me. And it's a hard thing to remember, but, you know, it's really important. And I, you know, I have a mantra, and I mentioned this in the response as well. And I've been saying this to myself for years, because honestly just the repetition of it, even if I don't necessarily believe it in the moment, just being able to say this, like, over and over again can just, like, bring that, like, that anxiety down, which is, you are strong, you are smart, you are capable. And, you know, it's just 3 little things. It's like, it's not like, oh my god, you're the greatest person in the world, but it's like, you know, you're strong enough to get through this, you're smart enough to yeah, like,
I feel like that's what a lot of us, the contestants of Butch Queen, did to each other.
Yeah.
We definitely did that. Like, there was a little, like, preview video trailer to the show, and it was, like, all of us, like, whispering in our ears, but, like, that was an actual real thing in terms of, like, happening behind the scenes downstairs in the basement of the Victoria Theater. Like, we're all, like, telling each other, like, you're gonna do great.
Right.
You're gonna do good.
Yeah, you're never sick. Your outfit is gorgeous.
Like, you're all beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, just keep going. So.
Yeah. And it's like, and I think that's one of the coolest parts of this residency was that it really didn't feel like a competition. Like, it wasn't until, like, the days leading up to it that was like, oh, fuck, like, someone's going to win this. Like, it was like, it was like that, like, realization of, like, oh my god, like, there's, like, you know, when, like, especially, like, when we were introduced to the judges and, like, you know, stuff like that, was like, oh, like, there's, and, like, you know, when the previous queens came in and, like, when Vanilla came in to do her step down and rehearse her step down, it was like, wow, like, someone is actually going to take home a crown, like, at the end of this. Like, someone is going to be Butch Queen 2020, you know? And I think that, like, I love the structure of that because it didn't feel, like, competitive and nasty and, like, you know, like, we were fighting at each other. We were fighting for each other. So, Runway. Which was, like...
my favorite, actually.
It was really fun. Like,
Even though I
was so nervous. Like, I walked so fast. I'm like...
I was really concerned that I was going to walk really fast, but when I saw the video of my runway, I was very happy with the way I walked, even though I, like, stumbled a couple of times because my dress got caught up in my heel.
When you have a train.
Yeah, but I think I did it way better than I did in the rehearsal portion of the runway.
Yeah.
And I love that dress.
Yes.
I want to wear it every day. My dress was made by North, or AKA Lady Whatever, which is a baby queen, or currently at this time. But amazing seamstress, very creative person, and a sweetheart. So I had this idea last year actually to make this dress. It's just been in the making forever. So I thought, what would be a cool idea to showcase local drag and kind of like just make something really cool out of it. So I thought, why don't I just make a dress out of drag merch? So I took a bunch of drag t-shirts and made a beautiful dress out of it, or North made a beautiful dress out of it. And I did a reveal, and I had like this huge silvery caftan that's painted support local drag over it, and did a reveal, and shabam was the dress.
My nails, hair, hips, heels.
Basically, with this whole pageant, like, I wanted to showcase the two biggest sides of my drag. So I had, like, the dark and devilish and angry and, like, you know, the modern dance side, which is, like, very much, like, my own roots and, like, my own history of performance is, like, this really awkward, angry, like, really intense type of movement. And, like, how I entered into the scene. And then in the last few years, especially entering drag, I have absolutely fallen in love with 80s and 80s culture and 80s aesthetic, and like
I
just like I love it. Like I wasn't born in the 80s.
I love the 80s.
Yes! I am obsessed with. I love it, and so.
Do you want one of these?
Like, no, because my lashes are too long. But the so I wanted to showcase like that part of it. And so that was my runway, that was my inspo, and I love Terry Mugler. He's my absolute favorite designer. I wanted to do a pantsuit inspired by Terry Mugler, and so Prince Wolf, who is a local DJ and like one of like just a really good friend of mine, I just love him to pieces. He also is an insane costumer. Like who knew? And well, I knew, but you know, I didn't know how good he was until he made the pantsuit. Because he made it like pretty much from scratch. Like, I mean, he took a jacket of mine and a pair of pants just to, like, get the right fit. And, like, boom, I was in a glitter green pantsuit with a Terry Mugler cut. My mom, oh my god, my mom made my pussy bow for me, which is actually called a pussy bow. It's because in the 70s and early 80s, women were wearing more pantsuits, and like to femme it up a little bit, they would wear these giant bows to look kind of like ties, and so they call them pussy bows. So, so you see those big loose bows, pussy bow, and so it was a patent leather pussy bow, and my mom's like, I've never worked with patent leather before, I don't know if I can do this, but it was like gorgeous and perfect, and so I walked out there with like my blonde Jerry Hall curls, and like I did my own nail gloves, and that was really fun. I'd never made gloves before, that was a really good time. And I did a pasty reveal because I was like, hell, if I'm gonna be the first AFAB queen, like one of my lines, tits out. So,
My nails, hair, hips, heels.
that's our show. Thanks for tuning in to episode 1.
What should be the next topic?
Oh.
Ooh. We talk about
I think this would probably be better discussed after you pee.
Yes.
Once again, I'm Pina Busch.
And I'm Cassie Delicant.
And this has been PC, Pussy and Cunty.
Pussy, puss, give him cunt, bitch. Mama, yes, God, then you pop that tongue, bitch. This whole club is my runway, run, bitch. Y'all 5, 4, 3, 2s, I'm a one, bitch. Girl, what did that girl just say, girl? Girl.